Now you can bounce if you want to, lounge if you want to. Now you can bounce. Now you can bounce if you want to, lounge if you want to. Now you can bounce it. Now you can bounce if you want to, lounge if you want to. Now you can bounce if you want to, lounge if you want to. Now you can bounce if you want, if you want.
Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, here we go. Busy hump day edition of the Young and Norvelle Show coming up here for 2 hours, 4 to 6. We've got a lot to get to. Jaguar news. Looks like Christian Kirk is out off the Jaguar roster. Kind of a move we all thought was going to happen. Let me turn this. There we go. Now I can hear my voice. Now, Zachary Rothrock producing today's show. Now I hear my beautiful voice. That was on me, Zach. Wasn't on you. I wanted to blame it on you. How you doing, man? I don't hear you. Uh-oh, I don't hear you, Zach. Hold on. Let me hit this button. Real quick.
No, I'm honestly shocked you didn't go the route of blaming me for that.
There we go. I hear you now, and I'm going to blame you for not hearing you earlier. Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised you didn't take that route to begin with.
I don't know if this is a misprint. You can help me with this, Zach. We just saw a comment that said missed the show this week.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, they're saying. Who is that? Magic Pod number 2 says, good afternoon. Haven't been able to listen to this week. Love the show. Are we crosswired with some other show? Are you
possibly? Yeah, I think that.
I don't think that message. I don't think that message came to us. Hey, man, what's going on? We hope to hear from Patrick Young. Lord knows he is in and out traveling so much. Certainly, huge basketball game tonight in the SEC. The dominant game tonight, which will have ramifications. We'll talk about that as we go. We'll have Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. We got a lot of injuries to talk about. Gator baseball has an injury. Joel Embiid, my God, Embiid and the 76ers, they must be fighting right now. Embiid was a bad patient. He's out for the year. We'll talk about that. We hope to hear from Brent Beard. I'm not sure if we're going to hear from Brent Beard today. Not sure if it's going to be first or second hour. But Jaguar talk. It's been pretty understood, right? It looked like most of this early offseason that Christian Kirk, his days in Jacksonville are over. That's pretty much finalized, right? The Jaguars have released Christian Kirk to free up his money, right? So Christian Kirk is gone. Zach, number one, your thoughts on that. Number two, I'll toss out my early thoughts. Just one more hole the Jaguars have to fill. I just think if you're Liam Cohen and all those new guys down there running this organization, you never say we're going to throw in a season, but don't you get the feeling now there are so many holes to fill that 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars needs to be putting fingers in the dike. You know how the dike leaks and you only have so many fingers to put in the hole?
Yeah.
I think that Liam Cohen he and his agent probably got some kind of at least handshake deal from Shad Khan and said, hey, man, don't expect the world 2025. There are a lot of holes, including your number 2 wide receiver. But at that price tag, the Jaguars need to free up some money. They're right around middle of the pack going into this free agency. This will help them, right, with the salary cap.
Yeah, at least a little bit, because he had a $72 million contract I'm actually trying to look up exactly what the cap hit would be. But, yeah, I mean, the thought process probably is, I mean, he's not a outside
No, he's a
number
slot
one
guy.
receiver.
He's a slot guy.
He's a very good. If he's your third guy that's in the slot, you've got a really good offense.
He was probably, when he was healthy and with the emergence of Brian Thomas, he was going to be your number 2, your slot guy number 2. He's definitely never going to be a number 1. He's not an outside guy. Your number ones, unless you're a special slot guy like Tyreek Hill, guys like that, your number ones are your long striders, right, on the outside. Those are your number ones.
Oh, yeah, largely. Yeah, the big guys.
Those
the
are your
DK
number
Metcalfs.
ones. Now, what do they do? You also got to make a decision on Evan Ingram. I mean, you look at a guy like Evan Ingram. He's been really productive here, but gosh darn, he's been here 3 or 4 years. The NFL's a young man's league, man. It is a young guy's league, and you get old quick in the NFL, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? I know there's some quarterbacks that go against that, but you get old quick in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, particularly at the slot position. I mean, yeah, when you hit 30, really more like 28, 29, you start to kind of –
yeah.
You're not getting better at that point. You're only getting worse.
Take Christian Kirk's back-to-back season injuries out of the loop. I think you would have had to start making a decision on Christian Kirk anyway. I mean, those tires – he's been here 3-4 years now. Those tires got a lot of mileage on it. I think but he also – I mean, you can't really say somebody's injury prone. Injuries just happen. But Christian Kirk, he's missed the bulk of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and with his body stature, it kind of feels like he's kind of the type. So the Jaguars, they did free up $10.4 million in cap space with this move. So I mean that's a pretty decent chunk.
Jaguars in terms of free agency, boy, have you seen all the news and the moves and the almost moves that are happening? When you see these they're really connected guys in the NFL. They can come out and say, hey, XYZ is about to get released, or so-and-so team is about, and they're pretty close. A lot of movement right now. This is that time, right? The free agency is about to open up. You don't see much that says Jaguars, right? You don't see much player XYZ talking to this team, and the Jaguars. I've contended, and I think this is true, and it's not going to be a good statement on the Jaguars. Every free agent season that rolls around, and we're in the free agent season right now, right, Zach? It's pretty much.
Oh yeah, we're right in the pre-draft free agency.
The doorstep, and what do they call it? The legal tampering is right around the corner where you can start talking, and then you can start signing. The Jaguar franchise, no matter how you want to cut it, slice it, they always face 2 issues, in my opinion, and I think this is absolutely true, when free agency rolls around. Their 2 issues are, A, and this is a league-wide issue, but the Jaguars always face, A, do they have cash on hand? Do they have room? Okay, you got to have room. You got a cap, right? You've got to have room. And B, I'm going to use the word interest. Jacksonville, and you've heard me say this for years, Jacksonville is not known as a destination location. And when you start trying to sign these big-time free agents, most of the time, wouldn't you say, if Jacksonville's trying to get in the mix for a receiver, a lineman, offense or defense, a linebacker, most of the time, the money is going to be in the same ballpark, right? There may be 4 teams chasing XYZ player, free agent, and Jacksonville may be. So the money, I think, if you've got it, you got to have it, right? You got to have the cap space. So that's issue 1, and I think they've got a little bit. Issue 2 is Jacksonville has never, ever, ever in 30 years been a destination location. You get the feeling, and the way it plays out, the hot shot free agents, they just don't go, hey, agent, I want to go to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, they don't get hyped for it,
So
for sure.
If the money is basically the same and the player has an offer from sexy Miami, the city of, Jacksonville, sexy New York, sexy LA, where are they going to go? And the money is generally right in the ballpark, right? Right? That's two issues the Jaguars always seem to have in free agency. When is the last time the Jacksonville Jaguars signed? I mean, they've been around 30 years now, Zach. 30. That's 3 decades. When is the last time, / maybe only time, maybe never, I'm leaning toward never, that the Jacksonville Jaguars, free agent-wise, signed a massive, massive free agent guy? I mean, the Randy Mosses that everybody wanted, the Tom, right?
Yeah. Well, they did sign a Super Bowl winning quarterback to a 4-year, $88 million contract in 2018.
Foles?
Yeah.
Did you ever think Nick Foles was a big time mega free agent in the NFL quarterback? I never would have bought that.
No,
ever.
But he was in that offseason. He was probably the most coveted prize.
You think?
4 years, $88 million in 2019 money.
There you have. Hey, by the way, a little bit of Jaguar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes to kind of further prove your point of how tough it is for him.
Yeah. And we won't spend a lot of time. Obviously, the NFL this free agent season is really starting to pop, and until some stuff starts popping, and I don't know if the Jaguars are going to pop in free agency. A couple of just little side Jaguar notes. Former Jaguar quarterback coach Mike McCoy. You remember him?
Yes.
Mike McCoy.
Oh, yeah.
He has popped up with the Titans, obviously looking for work. They blew out their staff, obviously, with the new organization. So he's staying in like an assistant offensive coordinator kind of job. He's staying in the league for whatever that's worth. And I thought this was kind of cool. Former Jaguar running back Natron Means. Boy, he had a couple good years here. Remember Natron? A little fire plug, bowling ball running back. Natron Means, running back coach, North Carolina, on Bill Belichick's staff, and he was a North Carolina running back. He played at North Carolina.
Right, so he'll be in the new Hard Knocks.
Yeah, no, they turned that down. Did you hear? It looks like, I think North Carolina said no, we don't want to do it.
They pulled the rug off underneath.
Can you look into that?
I will.
I think North Carolina said, nah, we're okay.
Okay.
We are okay. I think they said. We may get into this topic.
Oh, they will not be.
They will not do it. They got offered it, I think. And has the Hard Knocks kind of run its course?
It feels like it.
Isn't it the same season? The newer team, every year there's a new team they follow, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't it the same thing, just with a different logo and a different color scheme?
More or less, yeah. And it feels like the Giants GM really ruined it with the Saquon Barkley situation.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the final nail in the coffin on it. No one wants to touch it after that.
And even without that, you get the feeling 10 years ago, Hard Knocks was kind of cool, but now it really is the same show.
The shot of the sprinkler.
Yeah, they're going to follow a free agent to see if he can make the team. They're going to follow a high draft choice to see how that plays out with a holdout or whatever. They're going to follow the coaching staff in a meeting, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same show. Over and over again,
yelling curse words for
absolutely
probably no reason.
Yeah, you're gonna
overdoing it with the camera.
They're gonna hook up the defensive coordinator during one of the mini camps.
Yeah,
and the DC is gonna cuss every other word for 30 minutes. It's kind of the same show. It really is.
100%.
It's kind of run its course. Now I don't blame them. They tried to go Belichick. He's a former.
I think that would have been a fun change of pace for at least a year. It would have, but.
Would Belichick
secretive?
Would Belichick have gone back?
I'm interested to see how his persona is going to be. Is he going to get away from that? Because he's college now. He'd be rah-rah.
You would think. I mean, he's got to follow Rodney Dangerfield, right? When Rodney went back to college, go have fun, man.
Yeah, got to be like Dabo.
Belichick, you're in the NFL Hall of Fame. You're a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. You're considered one of, if probably not the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Got to be.
You've got a 24-year-old girlfriend on your arm. My God, you don't have to talk like this anymore. I hate my life, and if I smile, I'm going to die, so I'm never going to smile. Nobody's ever going to see me smile, and I'm Bill Belichick. Right?
Yeah, I don't think he's got to do that shtick anymore.
Isn't that Bill Belichick?
Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati.
I still
we're on to Wake Forest.
Yeah, we're on 4-4. We're playing the Richmond Spiders this week. Richmond Spiders. I still can't wait to see Bill Belichick, and I'm not picking at Richmond. Is literally one of the teams I think they play.
They do.
They play their ACC teams.
Yeah.
And the ACC teams at least have recognizable coaches. It's going to be a hoot when Bill Belichick is on one sideline and Zach Rothrock, head coach of the Richmond Spot. Bill Belichick will be coaching against like the Richmond coach, whoever the hell that guy is.
Russ Weissman.
Russ Huisman. Huh?
Russ Huisman.
I mean, does Russ walk out? You know how teams get on the field and during warm-ups, you've got half the field and the other team has half. Does he show up with a Sharpie and ask for an autograph? I mean,
he might.
Right?
Does
the Richmond football coach ask for an autograph?
He's only the same age, 65. He's only the same age, but he might potentially.
Oh, Bill Belichick. So the word is Belichick took the job. He didn't need this job. I mean, Belichick's agent could call any TV network in the world and get $20 million, right? I mean, he's Bill Belichick, right, for the next 10 years if he wanted. He didn't need the job. Did he legitimately take this job to tee up his son? The word is he teed up his son. His son's like the number one assistant.
Yeah.
And his son is a legitimate coach. It's not like he's just Bill Belichick's. He's paid his son reminds me a little bit of Steve Spurrier Jr. You know, Bubba Spurrier, that name's going to follow Bubba. Bubba's 53 years old, been coaching 30 years, away from his dad for 25. You get the feeling the same thing with Bill Belichick's son. Steve, I think his name is. Steven?
Yeah, Steve Belichick, yeah.
But that seems to be the word that Belichick took the North Carolina job, said, hey, man, I'll give you 3 to 5 years, but I want it to be understood my son is going to be the next head coach at North Carolina.
I mean, that definitely adds up, but I think that if he's there, he's not gonna try to tarnish his legacy by doing a half job. He's gonna be all in.
You know what we need, and I guess the only way it could happen this year would be in a bowl game. You need North Carolina to go to a bowl game and face Colorado. Oh, Belichick and Deion.
That'd be spicy.
Belichick and Deion. You know, speaking of Deion and Colorado, this is not guaranteed, but you gotta believe. Not that Colorado was a national contender. What were they, like 8-4? And they won some good games.
Something like that, yeah.
You gotta wonder, how will Deion handle if they take a step back? If they turn into 6-6 or a 5-7 and they're off the map. 4 weeks in, they're off the map. You know?
I could see him doing the walkout halfway through the season type thing.
And his son is playing in New York, or his son is playing in New England, and Hunter's playing somewhere else.
Maybe 9-4 is what they were.
9-4. I guess they won a ball game. By the way, we talked about Christian Kirk being released by the Jaguars. Kind of a salary cap move plus his injury history. Is that a coincidence, or does that scream Travis Hunter at 5? Which I wouldn't do. I think that'd be a terrible pick, but does that say anything about, or is it just this was going to happen no matter where they picked at? They were going to let Christian Kirk go.
Oh, it could. I mean, I would like them getting Travis Hunter. I feel like he should mostly play corner and then just have a few packages on offense. But I mean, maybe they view it a different way. I would like the Travis Hunter pick. But so they freed up $10 million in cap space, but they're also eating $13 million in dead cap as well. So I mean, it doesn't come without like a little bit of a small step backwards. But yeah.
So say that again now. So their net gain will be very small, cash wise.
Yeah, the dead cap doesn't exactly work as black and white like that. I don't think.
Yeah,
but it appears if you did the difference of those, it would be a $3 million in savings, not really a full 10.
Hey, you ever want to kill some time, eat up some brain? Part of your brain cells, and walk away and still not know what you read?
Think about salary cap.
Just key in like Google NFL offseason calendar, and it'll walk you through, and it'll start talking about, okay, and then from March 12th through April 14th, that's the restricted free agent calendar where you can blah 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 blah. Dude, you talk about calculus. You talk about
it's year round, it never ends.
And buddy, it is complicated. It is complicated. So anyway, we're cruising through segment number 1. As we go to break, I want to get back to Florida, Alabama. Zach, I think tonight's Florida, Alabama game, the Gators are at Tuscaloosa. They're one and only meeting in the regular season. They haven't played this year the way the schedule's played out. I think number one, and if anybody can correct me, feel free, drop a chat. I think number one tonight is the biggest, and hear me say this, the biggest Gator basketball regular season game in the history of the program.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to imagine a bigger scenario.
Because what's on the line? I truly think the winner of tonight's game, Florida versus Alabama in Tuscaloosa, I think the winner is a number one seed. They're going to get a number one seed in the big tournament, and the winner's probably going to go ahead and hold that number two seed in Nashville. I don't think Nashville matters that much, but I truly – Now, people say, well, Terry, wait a minute. The Gators have won 2 national titles. Well, I said regulars. I think this is the biggest regular season Gator basketball game in the history of the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in the history of the program.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't know every matchup they've ever done, but the conference has never been as loaded as it is this year, and so therefore, that's how you get the matchup like this with so much at stake. But yeah. Just because the Gators win this game doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to propel to a national title. And
I think they will.
Just because they
not national title, number one seed. I think they'll get a number.
Oh
one
yeah,
seed.
yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. But just because they lose doesn't necessarily mean they're out, and just because they win doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win it. It's still going to come down to if you get hot for those 6 games in the tournament. Great. But obviously, the more clear the path of least resistance would be winning this big game. But it's tough that it's on the road in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be loud.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think Florida is several things are working in Florida's favor other than they're at Tuscaloosa, number one, and Alabama's really good. As we go to break, I was not at all surprised. Auburn lost last night. Auburn got beat by Texas A&M. I saw that coming. I remember asking Brent Beard and even Patrick Young earlier this week. I said, now that Auburn coming out of the weekend, this past weekend, Auburn clinched the regular season. The way things fell, they are the regular season champs no matter what happened. And I asked Brent and Patrick, I said, I know Bruce Pearl's a type A, go guy, right? I wondered if Auburn's going to idle down. And I don't want to take anything away from A&M. They beat them last night. A&M was ahead the entire game. But couldn't you see that loss coming? Not that that Auburn's throwing in the rest of the season because they play Alabama Saturday. But I could see that. You could see how Auburn lost last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where it's a marathon schedule, so you're going to have these scenarios.
Didn't need the game necessarily.
Yeah.
And you wonder, and I certainly get it. People make the argument, Alabama-Auburn is the best rivalry in sports. You can make that argument.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. They play this Saturday, final regular season game. But, man, if you are Auburn, you are thinking, let's see if we can get everybody healthy. I'm not saying don't play Broom some here and there. And I know they're going to want to win against Alabama. But, man, that was I didn't put any money or anything on the game last night, A&M. But A&M coming off, a 4-game losing streak. That was a almost desperate game for A&M. And you kind of knew Auburn was going to have kind of a exhale. We just went through the SEC. We're the champions. I could see that game coming last night.
the way they celebrated on the bus when they saw the loss. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those where it's almost like the last couple of days of school where you're not really paying attention.
Yeah.
Kind of one of those.
You're going to pass that class. It doesn't matter if you make a D62 or an A94, so you make a D62.
Right, yeah. Everyone's throwing paper balls everywhere last day.
Which I think a D62 is wonderful. D for diploma. I've always heard D for diploma.
D's get degrees, that's right.
D's get degrees. All right, let's take a break. I'm not sure if I heard Patrick or Brett maybe on the other side. We'll catch up with those guys. A ton of Florida, Alabama. I've got a lot of news and notes, kind of things comparing this game. Breaking the game down tonight. 7 o'clock tip, not a 9. It's a 7 o'clock tip. Florida at Alabama, ESPN2. We'll break that sucker down when we come back right here on the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jack.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
23-6 Alabama, 12-4 in the SEC. 25-4 Florida, 12-4 in the SEC. They knock heads tonight in Tuscaloosa in what I'm calling the biggest Florida Gator basketball regular season game in the history of the program. In the history of the program. Can't wait for that thing to tip off. Brent Beard joining us in a quick second. To break this thing down. Got a lot of stuff to talk about Florida, Alabama. 7 o'clock tip tonight, ESPN2. Zach Rothrock, you were telling me during the break that lottery tickets are good investments, maybe. Buying stocks and bonds and gold and silver, but Cheetos. You may want to go buy some Cheetos. What the hell's going on with Cheetos?
Well, yeah, only if
I love Cheetos.
You potentially can find one that is shaped in a weird, strange way,
like
so to speak.
All right, you're worrying me here, Zach.
Oh God. Me. Well, yeah. So someone found this little guy. So you see, on the left there is a Cheeto, right?
Okay.
And on the right there is a dragon-looking figure. Some may recognize him as a cartoon, the popular cartoon character Charizard, right? He's a Pokemon, okay?
Yeah.
Look, okay. I don't know if you're familiar with Charizard or not. That's besides the point.
No.
What's important about the story is someone was eating a bag of Cheetos and they looked at the Cheetos and they said, "Hey, This Cheeto looks like it's shaped like Charizard.
Do you? I don't see that at all. Do you? I see.
Yeah, it really doesn't even. That's the crazy thing. It really doesn't even look that much like it. I'm like, so can I just look at Cheetos?
And that's going for how much? That piece of Cheeto?
Yeah, so someone sold this on eBay for just under $88,000. I think it was $87,840.
Because they think that Cheeto on the left looks like the
Charizard,
character.
the dragon.
Now, if you do think
Charizard's
it looks
very
like
cool
that,
Pokemon.
do you spray it with some kind of glue or something so it doesn't break? Because if it breaks, it has no value.
Yeah,
right?
then it becomes worthless.
To me, to be honest with you, it doesn't look like that dragon guy on the right.
No, it really doesn't.
That Cheeto on the left looks like probably what my appendix looks like, probably. If you
it almost looks like it's multiple Cheetos glued together. It almost looks like the main base is one and then the wing is another. So, I mean, I don't know. So, should I just get a bag of Cheetos and see what I can start gluing together and see what type of cartoon characters I can make?
Man, so somebody paid $88,000.
Yeah, I feel like I can find a Cheeto that looks like Trevor Lawrence or something.
Well, they must really love that character.
$88,000.
You talk about what do they say about Hollywood? When they put movies together, a lot of times they take liberties. They'll take a story and to Hollywood it up, they'll add, like Rudy probably didn't. The crowd wasn't chanting Rudy, right?
Yeah, like they said that the whole team definitely didn't come and put their jerseys on the desk. Yeah,
I think that's kind of the liberty they're taking there. That thing looks like my appendix. I think if I ever looked at my appendix.
Yes, I don't know if your appendix would sell for $88,000.
I don't think so. Let me say this. I wouldn't pay $88,000 for my own appendix, right?
On the back,
I'll tell you right now. If anybody wants to give me $8 for my appendix, sold.
Yeah, there you go.
Sold. All right, do we have Brent Beard on?
We do. We do have one Brent Beard.
Oh, Brent Beard. I'm calling it the biggest regular season basketball game in Gator basketball history, Brent. Regular season now, not national title games, but
right.
And could you possibly say the same thing about Alabama? I think there's a number one seed on the line to the winner tonight. I think it's cut and dry.
Yeah, I think that's very possible too. I would agree with that, Terry. That it is. Now this is senior night in Tuscaloosa too, so you've got that going on.
Yeah.
With this night. But I mean, you've got two of the highest scoring teams in the league. I think this thing could be 92-90.
I'm with you.
Type thing. Frank, I've been very clear about this for a week now. I think Florida wins. I think this is a bad matchup for Alabama. And now there's some talk about Grant Nelson he's probable.
It looks like he's going to play, I think.
Yeah, but I think he will.
But Grant Nelson has given Florida problems. He's just been one of those weird matchups. Florida won 2 or 3 last year over Alabama, and Alabama went to the Final Four. Florida scored 100 points. They averaged 100 points against Alabama in 3 games. Yeah. But Grant Nelson was a problem. He's kind of that tweener guy, and Florida may have a guy to match up, but Alabama needs him to play tonight, I think.
Yeah, they do. I agree with that. He hurt his knee a little bit, but I think he will be able to play now, the problem with Grant Nelson is he has changed for whatever reason. I think this is like guys playing golf and they change their grip or something of that nature. But you remember last year he shot this. I mean, he basically shot it, Terry. It'd go up. The arc would go up to the ceiling, and then would come back down. And he was a lot more accurate with that. This year he's shooting a flatter ball, and it just has not helped him. So, but the reality is, I mean, Alabama, but they've got bigs, and Grant Nelson is one of those.
Yeah.
The Amori kid, the transfer from Rutgers is also one of their bigs. That their best big is Mo Diabate. And he's one of their best players. But the guys who will make the difference for Alabama the rest of the year, I think, are going to be the Holloway kid who transferred from Auburn, and Fallon. Fallon was a kid who was trying to throw the ball in, Terry, against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And the 5 seconds went off. Philon's a really good player too. He was player of the year in the state of Alabama. But again, Mark Sears has been, he's been averaging 20 to 30 a game. So he certainly is playing better overall. But no, I think this is a shootout, and Alabama can play some defense. There's times where they couldn't guard you and me.
I didn't think they were allowed to play defense.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Let me back you up. Was Diabate the guy that clocked Condon in the head last year in Tuscaloosa? There was kind of a hard clocking foul. Yeah.
Because Diabate can do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was intentional, but he's a tough player, and he plays hard, and he's a guy they've got to have. Frankly, because they never know when Omari's going to be able to do anything against and I'm serious about this, against Tennessee. Terry, they were probably like 4 out of 10 within 2 feet of the basket.
Ooh.
They struggle in finishing.
And Florida, I don't mean to interrupt you, Florida can do that to you on defense, even though they were two of Florida did that to Auburn. They caused enough traffic that that 2, 3, 4 foot flip shot, that hook shot, was contested because Florida's got a lot of bigs. And
Terry, you remember what happened? Condon covered Broome just about the whole game.
Yeah,
and he was like a kind of a gnat that wouldn't go away. And every time Broome would get close to the basket, he'd put his arms up, and he would annoy him, and he couldn't really get the shot. So Broome missed a lot of shots inside.
Yeah. Tonight, Dave Pasch, Jay Billis, Molly McGrath. I think Jay Billis has such a strong national voice that people listen. I think Jay Billis will pick up what we were talking about. I think Jay Billis is going to say this is a win, get a number 1 seed. And he has a powerful voice. So Billis, Pasch, and Molly McGrath tonight. Brent, let's break this game down. There's a lot to look into. Some pro stuff on the Florida side, maybe some pro stuff on the Alabama side. First and foremost, I think Florida benefits from, they only play one time. This is the only regular season game. They may play in Nashville. Hell, they may play in March Madness. They only play once in the regular season. It's very late in the season. The way the season played out, I think tonight's game, March 5th, benefits Florida. If they played way back in early January, Hanlogden would not be playing.
Right. I agree.
And Florida had not discovered this guy named Klavzar.
Yeah.
I think tonight Klavzar could help Florida not only with his outside shooting. Klavzar is a quick, move your feet, change direction guy that I think Klavzar can at least get thrown on Sears 2 separate 5-minute stanzas and run around the court. Nobody's got a guy. Sears is a little cat quick guy. Florida, the closest they've got to him is Denzel Aberdeen. I think Klavzar may help tonight defensively because he's almost physically a lot like Sears. But if they played earlier, Hanlogden wouldn't play and Klavzar would still be on the bench.
Yeah. Well, and listen, and I'm not being facetious about this. Mark Sears is not taller than you or I.
No, but he's cat quick, man.
He is. But see, what teams have figured out is they'll post up against Sears and they just shoot over him.
Yeah.
That's what some of the teams have done as of late. And again, one of the real, and you'll see this as this game goes on. Florida really knows what they want to do offensively and defensively. And frankly, Alabama's still trying to figure that out. Now, that's not a real good thing when you're going to March, is trying to figure that out. Now, I will give Alabama credit. They should have beaten Tennessee. They beat Tennessee, Terry, for 39 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work that way. You got to finish, and they did not.
And you hope tonight that Nate Oates, because he was a stand-up guy. He took a lot of that loss.
He sure did.
He took a lot of that loss. You hope he doesn't overcoach tonight. He undercoached the other night. Hopefully he doesn't overcoach. You make a good point, though. Florida knows Florida wants to be led by their 3 guard scorers.
Yes. Yes.
And when you have to come out on them, they want to pound it down low and just smash you around the basket. Alabama, I've watched them all year like you have. Alabama, every time I watch them, it looks like they're trying to feel out the game as opposed to, wait a minute, this is what we do. To hell with the feeling out the game.
Right.
You got to stop us. You got to stop us. I don't know if Alabama knows what their us is yet.
They were doing, and look, to your point a few minutes ago, I think they were doing that more earlier in the year than they are now.
Yeah.
But they're still struggling somewhat with their rotation because now this is going to sound odd, but it's true. Alabama shoots better from three on the road than they do at home.
You've been saying that all year. You've been saying that all year.
I have never.
Those numbers are wacky to look at.
Terry, I've never understood a team like Alabama who cannot shoot the ball in their own gym.
Yeah.
Now, again, what you and I have laughed about this with our viewers, but I mean, just think about this a minute. How many shots do those kids shoot in their own gym in a week?
It's got to be 500 to 1,000.
It's got to be, doesn't it?
500.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
500 to 1,000. You would think. Absolutely, definitely. Brent, I want to sidestep real quick. I want to get back to Alabama, Florida. We got a lot to get to. Real quick, I was not surprised at all that A&M won last night and beat Auburn.
No.
A&M was desperate, and Auburn, it's just human nature, kind of exhaled a little bit. They won the league championship. That didn't surprise you at all, did it, last night?
No, it didn't. They were on fumes. And the other thing is, I heard somebody talking about this today, and this is how they describe the A&M offense. And I chuckle at it, but it's actually true. They said, well, A&M's offense is like this. They shoot the ball, and they miss, and they get the rebound.
Yeah.
They're the best. And Terry, last night, the offensive rebounds, A&M had 24, and Auburn had 9.
It was unbelievable. All right, getting back to the enormity of tonight's game in Tuscaloosa, I truly think Florida, Alabama, winner tonight gets a 1 seed. I don't care what happens the rest of the way. Yeah. And I'll throw one more thing in it. People may not realize your number ones, Auburn's going to be a number 1, and Duke's going to be a number 1.
Yeah, right.
Houston, Florida, Alabama, and maybe Tennessee are fighting for the last 2. People forget, and this is why I'm confident the winner wins a number 1 seed tonight. Alabama beat Houston earlier this year.
Yes.
Alabama beat Houston on a neutral court earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a benefit to Florida. Florida goes out and beats Alabama. They say, take Houston out of it. We beat the team to beat Houston. I think, obviously, if Alabama wins tonight, they would have beaten Florida.
Yeah.
I think they've beaten Tennessee at one point, and they've beat Houston. I think that's huge that nobody talks about.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I absolutely think it is too. And I mean, Nate Oates believes in playing a really difficult schedule. And listen, the other game that we haven't mentioned, and I was texting Reach Davis about this. Tennessee plays Ole Miss tonight.
I've got that on my keep an eye on 9 o'clock.
Yes.
On the road at Ole Miss. Keep an eye on that game.
Yeah, and by the way, Reese is calling the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Reese does. Terry, Reese does probably a good handful of play-by-play games during the year, and this is one of them that he is doing. So that will be.
Man.
And listen, this thing, Terry, this thing's gargantuan for Ole Miss.
Huge.
If they can win that. Now, okay, here's my point to this. And you mentioned this a minute ago with A&M and Auburn. Will you have the same situation? Will you have a Tennessee team that's been told all week how great they are?
Maybe.
And that they've celebrated that win. They pretty well know they're in good shape. What will their psyche be, Terry, for the Ole Miss game?
Yeah, that game. If you're an Alabama fan and Alabama wins, if you're a Florida fan and Florida wins tonight, you might want to just stick around and stay up because
absolutely.
If Tennessee gets beat, then it's a no-brainer. I mean, because Tennessee's got an outside chance. Brent, it's funny. You can look at Florida this year and last year, and Alabama the same this year and last year. On the surface, you would say, man, I hope one of our players can go for 30. You know what? 30 or more, these teams lose. Florida, Walter Clayton's biggest scoring nights for Florida the last 2 years, when he's gotten in the 30s, they lose. They lost. They lost this year. They lost in the tournament. A little bit like Mark Sears got 30 last year against Florida in a loss. These teams, you really don't want one guy scoring 34 because I think that means you're not balanced. I don't think the team wants their star to go for 35, as weird as that sounds.
Terry Clayton, to me, is more effective when he's 16, 6, and 6.
I agree.
6 rebounds, 6 assists, or now he may have more assists than he does points some nights, and that's when I think that's when he's really effective at that point too. But I still say, and see, this is going to make a difference in the second half. Florida has more fouls to give.
They really
do. Because they're deeper with the bigs than Alabama is. Don't you think that comes to some advantage for them at some point late in the game?
And it looks like they add 5 more fouls. Sam Alexis, I think, will be dressed.
Yeah.
And Sam Alexis, if needed, will be. You run him in 3 minutes in the first half and 4 minutes in the second, and you say, body up, be physical. We don't care if they blow the whistle.
Yeah. Now, see, another thing with this game is, I hate to bring stuff like this up, but it's just reality, and you and I are afraid to talk about it. Is it depends on who's officiating this game.
Totally.
Or are they going to let them play? Yeah. And if they let them play, it's going to be 102 to 100. Or do they want to get television time tonight? The officials, that is, and are they going to call 80 fouls?
And I think what you're saying is Pat Adams calling the game?
Yes.
By the way, Pat Adams the other night on the Oscars, he got an Oscar because he has so much camera time. He qualified for an Oscar. That guy loves the camera, doesn't he?
Hey, you remember Teddy Valentine, TV Teddy?
TV Teddy.
Is he still officiating, or is he retired?
I hope not. Tonight Tuscaloosa has been a house of horrors for Florida basketball. Alabama, 29 of the last 32 night games in Coleman, and that's normal for a really good team. You're much better, but it's hard to beat Alabama in Coleman at night. Interesting. This has been a hell of a series. The last 10 games, it's 5-5. Florida won 2 of 3. Alabama went to the Final Four last year. Florida took 2 of 3.
I don't know. I don't know why the league has not been able to figure that out. Now, I'm sure they do this scheduling by computer, I would guess.
Yeah.
But my stars, Terry, wouldn't you want 2 of your marquee teams to play twice every year during the regular season?
Yeah, definitely. And I hope all this can kind of work itself out. Why, Florida played Kentucky once this year. Kentucky did not come to Gainesville this year. That's criminal.
Yeah, it really is.
That's criminal. Yes. And I get it. Kentucky didn't have anything to do with it, but all the years Kentucky rolled into Gainesville and just had their way with Florida. Now Florida can compete a little bit. And what a shame. This Florida-Alabama basketball series has been sneaky good. You realize I didn't know it was this close. 79-72. Alabama leads 79-72. Like I said, the last 10, they're 5-5. Florida hasn't won in Tuscaloosa since 19, I believe it is.
Yeah. Terry, do you remember the Dwayne Shensis tennis ball incident in Alabama-Florida game?
Yeah,
Alabama won that game, but do you remember that?
I remember it all. Yeah. It was interesting this year. Florida and Alabama, they can only find one matchup unless they play in Nashville or in March Madness. They only play once. You realize they played 3 times last year.
Yeah.
In a 21-day span.
Yeah, that's true.
They played 3. They played regular season in Tuscaloosa. Alabama won in overtime. Florida wins the return game in Gainesville, And then Florida wins a quarterfinal, and they played 3 times in 21 days last year. But the SEC can only get them together once in the regular season.
I'm curious if you've seen this today, and you and I have talked about this now for months. And this actually came out in an article. The article said basically the title of the article: "Will SEC front runners play hard in the SEC tournament?
Yeah.
Or will they lose, or do they win, lose, and go home?"
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think once they get to Nashville and they get a little bit of the excitement, I think you want to play. Yeah. But I'll say this, Terry, if one of the front runners they get behind late by 7, 8, or 9 points, that the coach is not going to get the whip out.
I totally agree.
In a situation like that, because you know good and well that they're going to talk about that at some point next week.
And 10 to 15 years ago, that would be a little. What you're saying is the top 4 teams get a double bye.
Yes.
And it's going to be Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, right? They're going to get the conference tournament next week in the SEC starts on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It ends on Sundays, 5 days.
Yeah.
Your top four seeds get a double bye. They will not play on Wednesday. They will not play on Thursday. They will play Friday. What you're saying is you can't say it won't hurt any of their feelings if they, like you said, if they're down 8 points, 7 or 8 points, they've been chasing the ball all night. They're playing a fired up team that needs a win.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill Bruce Pearl, Nate Oates.
Oh, no.
It's not going to kill Todd Golden. It's not going to kill Rick Barnes. If their team doesn't hold on, they go to the press. They talk to the press. They catch a quick shower, and they jump on a plane and they get back to their hometown, and they settle in to watch Sunday, March 16th, where they're going. Absolutely.
Now, don't tell Greg Sankey that.
No, don't tell Greg Sankey that
because he doesn't want to hear that. But Terry, I mean, you look at this. If you're playing Sunday and you're playing at when is that game? Is it 1 or 3? I think it's 1 o'clock.
I think it's a 1 o'clock game. It's going to end 3:30 and media and all that.
Yeah, you're in. Let's just say Florida's there. Okay, that game ends 3:30. If you get back Sunday night, you're going to get back fairly late.
Sure you are.
And heaven forbid if you play your opening round game on Thursday.
Yeah,
that would mean you probably got would you have a mandatory day off on Monday?
You would think you would have to give them a day off. By the way, you're most likely in the air on an airplane when the selection. Now you can you can.
True.
They've got gear and all. You can dial it up, but you're in the plane on a plane if you play Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
As Selection Sunday is happening.
Oh yeah,
right. Because that show's on at 6 to 7 or whatever. You're damn sure on a plane heading back if you're leaving Nashville, right? I mean,
Terry, I've got to mention this. Did you, our favorite coach, Mike White? Did you notice the emotion last night?
I did not. Tell me about
it. Listen. He was throwing his hands in the air. He was clapping his hands. He was jumping up and down. It was the most emotion I've seen out of Mike White. I don't know when. And I mean, obviously they won.
Yeah.
Beat South Carolina, and there's still hope that they'll get in. I mean, they're like a rousing 5-11 or 5-12 right now.
I think they're going to get in. I think they may sneak in with one more win.
They might. Yeah, I think that might be possible. Arkansas came out of nowhere and won last night.
My goodness, obviously we've busted down Florida, Alabama quite a bit. So let's the few minutes we have, let's look around a little bit. Really, this conference, man, every single game, you don't know what you're getting.
No, you really don't.
Texas with a huge win over Mississippi State. Arkansas at Vandy. That kept Arkansas' season alive.
It really did.
And I thought, even though South Carolina's had a tough year, South Carolina's played a lot better the last few weeks. I thought that was a Georgia trap game.
I did too.
And we talked about A&M beating Auburn. We saw that coming. I thought South Carolina, that was a trap game for Georgia, but damn, tip of the hat. Georgia's winning games that they normally don't win under Mike White.
They did. Now listen, when you and I talked on Monday, as far as ESPN Game Day, now what did we say? What did we say where they would be? Okay,
yeah,
they're going to be at they're going to be at North Carolina for Duke, and listen, I get it. I get it. Some of me gets it, but my stars, Terry, right now, if you want a repeat game, I mean, Alabama plays at Auburn Saturday afternoon at 2:30. Why in the world don't you go there?
How is the dominant conference with the dominant game not your game day headquarters Saturday? How is that? That is terrible. And you get North Carolina Duke. I get it and all. Well, North Carolina's not very good this year.
No, they're not.
The last Saturday regular season game should not be two teams where one team is grinding to make March Madness.
Yeah.
You've got too many. You've got too many choices.
You do.
You've got too many storylines.
Mm-hmm.
How are you not in Auburn? Right.
I agree.
How are you not there Saturday? And that speaks to blue bloods versus blue bloods, blue blood conferences. The ACC still. You still think basketball with ACC, and you think Duke, North Carolina blue blood more than you think SEC blue blood conference.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, Auburn, Alabama, North Carolina, Duke. Well, this year, by a million miles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
That's a crime that they're doing that. By the way,
it is. But we thought they would do that. I mean that I don't. They're just entrenched in that game. I mean Terry and I understand the lore for our listeners.
Yeah.
But my stars, you've already had it once, and Duke ran away with it. I think that's going to probably happen even in North Carolina. North Carolina's playing a bit better, but at the same time, and obviously, the staff is coming back. They just hired a new general manager. But Terry, to me, ESPN really missed an opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Real quick, we'll talk before the Saturday games. But Saturday, Kentucky at Missouri, that's a seeding game, right?
Yeah, sure it is.
That's a conference seeding and a national seeding game.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State at Arkansas. Boy, Arkansas could go ahead and cement. Vanderbilt at Georgia. Ooh, Georgia needs to hold on to home court there. South Carolina at Tennessee. Obviously, the big one, Bama at Auburn, A&M LSU, Oklahoma, Texas. That might be an elimination game, and then Ole Miss at Florida. But man, you're so right. What a crime that North Carolina and Duke are the game day location, not Auburn, Alabama.
I would make the argument that if Ole Miss had played better, Ole Miss at Florida would be a better game day venue.
Could be. Brent, we have 2 minutes or so, 2-3 minutes here. I went on the Athletic today, and I think it was Matt Baker. I want to give credit to credit. A guy by the name of Matt Baker may have kind of did a post-mortem on winners, losers from FSU, Clemson, and the ACC settlement. And boy, he said all the stuff we talked about yesterday. Winner FSU, especially winner Clemson, and he basically, his article said what we talked about. All this is a stay of execution for the ACC.
That's it.
The governor called and said, "You guys got about 5 years."
That's right.
And the number, what did he say? The number is going to show 165 to buy you a way out. He said something about it's going to 5 years. It's a decreasing number.
It is.
5 years from now, it'll be 75. You'll negotiate.
Yes.
You'll negotiate that down to 40.
Yes.
And Brent, I think it would take a seismic shift in college football. I don't think Florida State or Clemson, and probably he threw in North Carolina and Virginia, benefited as well from this. They just got to call. FSU fan, hang in there 5 more years. you're going to be in the Big Ten or the SEC somewhere.
There's no doubt. I agree with that. And listen, the number you said, when we talked on Monday, when we said that it would be below $100 million in order to get out, that's what got my attention. Is it at 75? Now look, I know they don't have 75 in their 75 million in their pocket, but you and I both know, Terry, that's absolute chump change. It really is.
And again, that number is where it's gonna it decreases every year. Yes. So it's when they all want to get out in 5 years, when the contracts are up, and they are, I think, because I just don't think the ACC can strengthen enough. I don't know how you're going to strengthen yourself. That number will be at 75, and the lawyers will start saying, well, we'll pay 25, and they'll go, okay, we'll settle at 48. It's going to be way long. FSU is all but – I mean, this is a 5-year – the ACC gets 5 years to try and pull a rabbit out of their hat.
Well, I tell you, the rabbit would be Notre Dame.
The rabbit would be Notre Dame.
Now, I don't think they'll get them.
I don't either.
And I don't think, and I think if they went anywhere, they go to Big Ten.
I agree.
But look, you and I've said for years together, Notre Dame, until they, Terry, unless somebody's knocking down the door, of the president / priest to come get him. They will stay independent as long as they can because they get all the money. They get to keep every bit of it.
And even if by some crazy miracle Notre Dame said, okay, ACC, we'll come along with you. What do you think the special contract Notre Dame would ask for?
Whatever and listen.
In the ACC. And the rest of the schools will be so pissed off because Notre Dame would say, if we come to your conference as a full-fledged football member, we're going to have our own contract with you.
Yes.
Yes.
They would.
But Notre Dame's about the only thing, and it appears they have no interest, man, being the savior.
Hey, Terry, to your point, and I know we're almost out of time. Notre Dame would tell Greg Sankey, Commish, I know the SEC divides up the money equally. Vandy gets as much as Alabama and Georgia, but now if we come in, just might need to change.
But he could say that. Notre Dame could say that to the ACC. Yes. I think the SEC would give him a middle finger. And I think,
absolutely they would. Yes.
Now, the Big Ten has been coveting Notre Dame for so long.
Exactly.
And Notre Dame is in Big Ten country.
Right.
The Big Ten would probably acquiesce with a lot of their wants. I think Greg Sankey would say, we're not. The last thing we want to do is upset the apple cart, and everybody knows Notre Dame gets a special contract, and Alabama doesn't, Georgia doesn't. LSU does? Are you kidding me? Don't you think the SEC, before they sold what we're going to talk about with Dr. Bates in a minute, before they threw the baby out with the bathwater, they'd say, Notre Dame, go break rocks, man. You need us more than – hey, how many titles have you won in the last 100 years?
And look, by then, I think we'll have a lot more structure. I think we'll have contracts by then with players.
Totally agree.
That would be important. Now, one thing to watch is, Terry, and we'll get into this in the offseason, are teams like Texas Tech of who?
Yeah.
But Texas Tech is now a real player in NIL, like nobody's business before. So, and look, it would take them 5 years to really be able to build something. But my Stars, who knows where this thing will be in 5 years when this contract comes up again.
Boy, if FSU fan, I'm just telling you, I think you concur, and we'll take a break and get Dr. Bates on the other side. I hope he's not holding and waiting. I think you'll concur, FSU fan, if you can just hang on.
Yes.
I know a year ago, Brent Beard and Terry Norvelle always said the ACC and FSU are going to break up. Okay, it was a miracle they stayed together. I think they basically both panicked, both sides. The ACC needs time. They bought a little time. FSU got to stay. They're out of that conference in 5 years, I think.
Oh yeah, and football, Terry, you and I both know, and this is not dog years or cat years. This is football years. you and I both know 5 years comes and goes quickly.
It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing. Hey, Brent, great stuff. Enjoy the basketball game tonight. Another just blockbuster. Isn't it awesome that we're going to look back in the regular season and literally the top 4 or 5 regular season games are all coming from the SEC?
No question.
All coming from the basketball, my man. Basketball.
Yes. Incredible.
Brent, thank you, buddy. Enjoy the ball game. We'll talk before the weekends. We'll have a lot to talk about going into the weekend. Yes. By the way, I'll give you this. You and everybody listening. This just for little goals in life to look ahead to. This Sunday, the clocks get moved.
Oh, yes.
The following Sunday is March Madness Selection Sunday. How about that? Enjoy that, folks. It's a little no charge. Have a good day, Brent.
You too, brother.
That's our buddy Brent Beard. Let's take a break real quick. We hope to hook up with Dr. Aaron Bates. Unfortunately, boy, a lot of injury stuff to talk about with Dr. Bates. He'll break it down as good as anybody in the world. I promise you that. Talking injuries in and around the world of sports on the other side. It's the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jack.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, let's jump back into our sports medicine discussion. We do it every Wednesday. Compliments of our good friends at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You can check out everything they do if you've got ortho needs. You want to know where you can be seen and seen immediately by the best in the business, se-ortho.com. All the information is right there on their site, se-ortho.com. Speaking of right there, Dr. Bates is right here, ready to talk some sports. We got a lot of injuries, Doc. I hate to say that. How you doing, my friend? Uh-oh, hit that button again. There's always a button we got to hit. I don't know if it's Doctor or Zach. There we go. How's that?
Can you hear me now?
Oh man, you sound good. Hey Doc, I hate to keep going. I hate to keep going back, but this keeps festering. You and I have talked about Joel Embiid, and he's battled a bunch of injuries. And I get it, man. Your body, and I'm saying in general, your body, you should control what happens to your body in terms of surgery, non-surgery. You're the ultimate over your body. I get that. But my goodness, I don't know if you've seen, Joel Embiid now has been ruled out. He's done for the season because of his injuries. He's been a guy, Doc, as we've tracked him, he's basically eschewed the experts' opinions of a lot of his injuries and kind of made his own decisions that a lot of times have gone against the experts, the medical experts. And Doc, it looks like it's bit him in the you-know-what. He didn't want to have surgery. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. He went against a bunch of different decisions. And, Doc, I just want you to – it looks like it's backfired. If I'm the 76ers – I'm kind of upset with this guy, man. Multiple injuries, multiple experts have said, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and he decided it's his body to do A, B, and C, and it looks like it backfired on this guy.
Right. We see it all the time, unfortunately. The patient or the athlete thinks they know more than your surgeon or your sports medicine doc, tend to go awry.
It just was like he wasn't getting the decision the answers he wanted. I don't know. And again, hey man, you control your body. I get that, but my goodness, it's not like he was in some third world. There was one doctor within 5 million miles that barely knows penicillin. I mean, he was getting the best of the best care, and what do you call it? Prognosis or diagnosis.
Diagnosis and prognosis if he did the right thing.
Man,
I think, unfortunately, he got more than one opinion.
I agree.
And they were saying the same thing, but he still wanted to do what he wanted.
Yeah, they were in lockstep, and you just, boy, that's gonna. If you're the organization, you're like, my man, my man. Hey, Doc, I want to get your opinion.
The amount of money they're paying them, exactly.
Absolutely, and again, I don't want. I'm never going to say. Any organization should say, we control what you do with your body. I get all that, but my goodness, they're there. It's a partnership. Man, right. We're not here to send you and treat you negatively. I mean, we're on the same team, my man. We're on the same team here, literally.
I also think that some of the stigma around medical personnel that's helping out the team or part of the organization, because they work for the organization, they think that, at least athletes may think that they have organizations that
they're leaning that way. Yeah.
Which is not the truth at all.
Yeah. Oof, man. Anyway, you feel bad for him, feel bad for the organization. And, boy, you wonder if this is a learning lesson for some athletes out there. Man, there's a reason you're an expert in your basketball field, and the medical guys and young ladies are experts in the medical field. There's a reason, right. They've achieved that same level as you, in your sport. Hey, Doc, I'm real curious for your opinion. This is your sports guy opinion, medical opinion. Boy, college football is still wrestling with fake injuries. And you watch games on Saturday. I watch games. You know it happens. We see it happening. Or we think it happens. So one area that's picking up some steam, and I really don't think this is – I wish I had the answer. I hate throwing things out that I don't have what I think is a good answer. I don't have what I think is a good answer here. But the college football powers that be, they're really talking about putting in a rule that says if a defensive player goes down, that player has to sit out, come out of the game. You know, and play has to stop, right? If play stops because a guy went down, that player they're talking about comes out of the game and cannot go back in that series. And a lot of people have that argument and that support that argument. That scares me to death. And I'm going to use a phrase. It's not medical, but you've heard the phrase, be careful, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You've heard that phrase. Doc, what scares me is... what you wish for. Yeah, what scares me about that all-encompassing, if you're injured, you got to sit out the rest of the series. Doc, there are legitimate injuries. There are legitimate players that that go down 10 seconds before the snap. You would be blanket catching all the legitimate injuries. Doc, I just don't think that's the answer. I don't know what the answer is to start preventing fake injuries, but I think you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater on legitimate injuries 10 seconds before the snap of the ball.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult to manage and officiate, particularly in a collision sport like football. It can also be very dangerous to have non-medical personnel on the field assessing for medical injuries, things like that. It's different than like in pro basketball where you have penalizing folks that are flopping, all of that.
I agree.
You kind of see that right out there. And, it's a little easier to,
I agree.
And penalize them. And it's just different. It's not a collision sport.
Boy, that's a good point, Doc. I wish I'd have thought of that. The basketball flopping, and they've done a pretty good handle on the flop, I think, in college and pro basketball. But you can that's really theatrical, and you can really see that. You can really see when a guy, barely got touched and he fell 25 feet back. Okay, that was a flop. But, man, Doc, you played football, man. I didn't play at a high level. I played Little League football. But, I mean, there are plenty of times where a play happened, a defender was involved on the play. You got 30 seconds, whatever the play clock is. And that defender, he's got a tweak or his ankle doesn't feel right, or maybe the wind's knocked out of him, right? Maybe he's got the wind almost knocked. And, that offensive team is getting their play in and they get to the line. And that guy goes, you've seen it. You've played football. Man, my ankle my ankle doesn't feel right, or I just can't catch my wind. And he comes out of the game. Well, that's legitimate. That guy doesn't need to miss. If he might need to go one play on the sideline, maybe two plays on the sideline. Yeah. I don't think you can mandate that guy out across the board because you'll be throwing the baby out with the bathwater in a lot of cases. Man, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, that certainly would affect strategy during the time. And you're only, I guess it's only the defensive guys kind of do it. But, I guess at some point you can have a situation where an offensive guy would do it to try to save the timeout.
It could behoove you. It could behoove you a little bit. I always go back to this, and I don't know the answer to this either, but why/how does the NFL keep that from happening? The NFL's gotten to a more quick offense, but the NFL doesn't seem to have this issue. I don't know why or how they've mandated it out. But, man, I think college football needs to be very careful with this as a blanket rule to pass. Well, if you cause a stoppage, that defensive player has to miss the rest of the series. Woo! Man, what happens? What happens if it's a legitimate injury, the final drive of the game, and your best defenders run off the field? And you're like, well, that drive went another 5 plays, but my man couldn't go back on the field. Right. I don't know. I don't know, Doc. Hey, Doc, some other injuries I want to talk to you about. Gators second baseman Cade Curlin, big series over the weekend. Florida takes 2 of 3 from Miami. You hear this a lot. He dives for a ball, makes a great stop. Glove side shoulder, makes the play, comes out of the game. The word is dislocated shoulder, but the word is trainers, after he came off the field, they popped it back in, and he was in a shoulder brace, missed the rest of the game, hasn't played since. When we hear pop in and pop out, it popped out, they popped it in. That sounds cut and dry, but is that more of a blanket statement? There could be a lot of damage. You would always pop it back in, wouldn't you, if it was a dislocation?
Yeah, we call it reduced. We're making congruent again. And so you could have labral tears or bone injuries or anything like that. But you have to reduce it so it's not pressing on the plexus of nerves that give you motor function and sensation down your arm.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you got to do. Then you go get them on.
So just hearing that the trainers popped it back in, I think a lot of Gator Nation went, okay, it must not be that serious. They popped it in. It could still be serious. You're going to pop that in no matter what, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's still serious.
Yeah, still serious. What's the general treatment of a dislocated shoulder? And I guess there's different grades.
Not really different grades, but first-time dislocators, we tend to treat non-operatively, try to rehab them, particularly if it's during the season, even if they have a label.
Interesting.
And then if you have to fix it at the end of the season, you can do that. If they can't get through the season, then they have to fix it during the season.
Interesting. Moving to football, Abdul Carter, really good defensive player for Penn State. He struggled late in the year for the Nittany Lions in their big games. Obviously, they went deep in the playoffs. Penn State, one of the better teams. He missed a lot of time, had a shoulder situation going. He's now he was at the combine, and a foot issue kind of popped up in the medical, what do they do? Full physicals on everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is a term that I just haven't seen. Supposedly, Abdul Carter, it was discovered he has a foot stress reaction. I don't know. I've never heard stress reaction, but doctors say they do not recommend surgery. They say rehab this bad boy, and they think he'll be ready for March 28th pro day. Stress reaction in a foot. What is that?
Yeah, and so a stress reaction is almost the beginnings of a stress fracture. So it's what you get before you actually have a stress fracture. And you see the changes on MRI. Looks like inflammation in the bone. And so that's what this is. And it sounds like where it is a particular area in the foot, on the outside of the foot. It's called the fifth metatarsal.
Okay.
Where you have a watershed area. I talk about watershed areas all the time, like an Achilles tendon and all that stuff. That just means an area in the bone that has poor blood supply. So you have a higher risk of stress fractures, stress reactions, and all of that, depending on the stress that you put on it, the position of the foot or the morphology of the foot, and things like that. So if it's a stress fracture, typically we do put a screw to stabilize it on that bone. Now, stress reactions, if you just take some time off, that may resolve itself.
Yeah. If he got it surgically, if he went under the knife or the arthroscopic, procedure, would that be multiple months? Because they think he can do it non-surgically, rehab, and be ready for March 28th.
Yeah, that would probably be at least 6 weeks or so.
Now, if he rehabs that stress reaction area, can he get it back to 100%, or will it always be susceptible? Will it always be a little bit loose there, a little bit non-100%?
That's hard to say. A lot of it depends, again, on his foot morphology and the way he plants his foot and things like that. If he has what they call a cave foot or a high arch foot versus a flat foot, things like that.
Yeah, I got you. Doc, let me go back to something you say all the time. I've learned a little bit. Patrick has as well. Blood flow is so important to healing. our body, we need to, I guess, bring blood, and it brings nutrients, and it brings oxygen, whatever. Blood flow is good. Is it as simple as anywhere I touch, and generally the human body, anywhere I touch that it feels like I'm basically, there's skin there, obviously, but I'm touching pretty much bone versus my fleshy parts, my thighs are muscular, if I touch bone area, is that always going to be a non-blood flow area versus the fleshy part of your body?
Well, you have certain areas in your body where bone is more prominent, where you feel like you're touching bone, just because there's not as much soft tissue over there. But there's still blood supply.
Like my hand, like the human hand. There's not a lot of there's fleshy here, but it's pretty much a bony area. Does that mean my hand won't be have a good blood supply because there's so much bone and not enough flesh?
It still has good blood supply.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Now, is it more susceptible to direct impact type injuries? Yeah, because you don't have all of the other soft tissue that's around there to cushion it. But it still has good blood supply.
I got you. But boy, that blood flow, I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. Blood flow. And I remember, just having issues with my body. And does putting like heating pads, does heat help the blood flow? Seems like I'm always told, it seems like I'm always told, put a heating pad, and it seems like that's going to bring the blood, and blood flow is good, right?
Yeah, your body reacts to heat by expanding blood vessels, and then create greater flow to that area.
Now, if I put ice on an area, I'm not slowing down the rehab, am I? Does ice?
No, not necessarily.
Does ice repel the blood flow, slow it down, or no?
Ice just reduces inflammation.
Yeah.
And with inflammation, there's a lot of blood flow. So sometimes you need to reduce the inflammation, and sometimes you need better blood flow to help healing. So it goes hand in hand.
Interesting. I did not see, Doc, we'll let you go after this. I did not see, supposedly it was an ugly injury. Kyrie Irving went down, but I heard it was that boy, when you see a hyperextension, you can just visually go, boy, it sounded like he caused a lot of damage by the sports misstep, misplant really causes problems. You know how you take an extra step or overstep? It appeared, was that Kyrie Irving's situation, had one of those misstep kind of things?
Yeah, he had a classic injury mechanism for ACL, non-contact, kind of hyperextended off to the side. His knee kind of came in and hyperextended and rotated. That's exactly that, you typically have an ACL there. I didn't see it initially, but I heard it on the radio. Yeah. And the way they were talking, like, sounds like that ACL there.
I heard the national guys talking about it as well, and the way they described it, I was like, man. And I've seen that. You've seen that. We've kind of had that as athletes, too, over the years. I'm telling boy, that misstep, a running back can, you know what it's supposed to look like when a running back cuts, or a basketball guy goes up for a layup, but that second step, it was either too far or too short, and you go, that just didn't look right. And it, when you see it, it's normally right. You go, ooh, he's not going to get up. And guess what? He doesn't get up. That misstep is weird. Really weird.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, you can have ACL tears where people can kind of get up and not have as much pain, and God, it feels weird.
Yeah.
I think it's the concomitant injury that you have with the ACL, like either the cartilage injury or the bone bruising or the meniscus tear, where people can't really put a lot of weight pressure on their knee.
Yeah. Last thing, did I hear the word concomitant? I don't know what that means. What was that word you just threw?
Additional injuries.
Oh, I thought you said something like concomitant. I'm like, even my JU education, I don't. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, concomitant. That's a new word for me.
Concomitant, yeah.
That's a new word. I'm gonna throw.
Committing. Some people pronounce that.
I like it. All right, Doc.
Other injuries at the same time.
we'll let you go. I know you're interested in some basketball. So tonight, big game, Florida at Alabama. But, you know, the big game is tomorrow. The JU Fighting Dolphins are 2 wins away from March Madness. We're on the road at North. We're on the road at North. At North Alabama on the road tomorrow. If we can win that, we play Lipscomb or Queens for a trip to the. I know you're on the edge of your seat thinking about the Fighting Dolphins, right? How's Towson? Are they doing anything in basketball this year?
They're doing great. They're leading the CAA. They only have 2 losses in the regular season. They actually won the CAA, and they have a first round bye, 1 or 2 rounds. So they play Saturday.
I thought I saw, I was looking at, obviously, Lenardi's bracketology. I thought I saw where they were having a good year. So would it be an upset if they don't win their tournament? They should get in the tournament? Or I know it's hard to win.
It is an upset. It should be an upset, but they do this all the time.
If they lose it, would it be an upset?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
They do this all the time. Like they do well in the regular season, and they get into the conference playoffs, and they don't do as well. They get upset early.
They've made March Madness, though. I remember Townsend making March Madness, I think. Yeah, several times. Several times.
Yeah, they made it a few times back when I was there.
Nice. Oh, that's real nice. That's real nice. Hey, Doc, good stuff, man. A lot of stuff we had to throw at you, unfortunately, because injuries are part of sports, as we say all the time. Have a good rest of your week. We'll visit next week, and we'll go from there. Thank you, buddy.
You too, buddy. Have a great week.
That's my main man, Dr. Aaron Bates. Boy, he's been a great addition to our show. Thanks to him, his time. He's a very, very busy guy. One of the leading orthopedic surgeons in our area. If you want to talk to him, if you've got an orthopedic situation, maybe somebody in your family, maybe a minor in your family, don't wait. Don't go to these emergency rooms. Don't go, and all you're going to do is waste time, and you're going to need to see experts. They can see you, no appointment necessary. Go find the locations. Go to the best. Don't waste time. Time can be valuable when you have a major injury, or you want to find out that you don't have a major injury. se-ortho.com, their site, se-ortho.com. They will direct you to their closest and the closest to you and the simplest path to get seen and get seen quickly by the best in the business, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Let's take a break. We'll start landing the plane, get back to some Alabama, Florida for you folks that tuned in hour number 2. Boy, we broke it down earlier with Brent Beard. We'll go over some of the highlights. Big game, 7 o'clock tip on ESPN2. Florida, Alabama. I think a number 1 seed is on the line to the winner tonight. We'll talk about that on the other side. It's the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jack.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, final segment here on a Hump Day Wednesday edition. Tomorrow we're live on the patio at Sliders. Always looking forward. Great weather, man. We got about a 4 or 5 month ridiculous Sliders on the patio weather. Then it gets a little warm, and they take care of that. They're climate controlled on the patio. Indoor dining as well at Sliders. The oyster bar inside, the full-service liquor bar inside, outside fun area. They got a little putting green out front. The kids love that. You can't go wrong. Come see us, say hi tomorrow, or make sure you get by soon. Sliders, Oyster Bar, our Thursday location here on the Young and Norvelle Show. Will be there tomorrow. Zach Rothrock producing. Terry Norvelle here. We've had a lot. Had Brent Beard on earlier. Dr. Aaron Bates momentarily. Jaguar news. It's pretty much been reported now. The Jaguars have released Christian Kirk, the wide receiver, has been let go. Salary cap situation where it saves the Jaguars a chunk of money, but they also have to replace. I know he missed time the last 2 years. You still have to replace that roster spot. And a wide receiver. They've got to get a number 2 wide receiver in there. Zach, I know you know the team as well as anybody. Parker Washington's really not an. I mean, they can't put their chips on the Parker Washington roulette number, can they? Right? I mean, they got to go get a guy, don't they?
Yeah, they need a. They need a stud alpha type receiver, a big one.
Gabe Davis. Are they stuck with Gabe Davis still with his contract? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember roughly this time a year ago? You know what I call them? The local fluffy Jaguar media. You know, I pick at my colleagues here a lot because I think during the offseason, they paint sugar and spice, everything nice. By the way, that's easy broadcasting. During the quote-unquote offseason, it's easy to take your home team and just say, they're good, they're going to be great. That's easy. Do you remember the backflips this town was doing, the local fluffy Jaguar media? And was I the only guy going, he's Gabe Davis?
You were definitely pretty anti-Gabe Davis and anti-Christian Kirk.
Gabe Davis especially. No, I was – my issue with the offseason last year, and I'm like, there were times last year I'm going, I must not see the forest because of the trees. Gabe Davis, I thought, and it proved out to be true, I think, there are a million Gabe Davises in the NFL. He's a dime a dozen. The local fluffy Jaguar media made you think Gabe Davis was the love child of Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice.
Wow.
You remember that?
That's quite an image.
But,
yeah,
but you remember this media, Gabe Davis was they just signed Jerry Rice, this media told you.
I feel like you're
they went
retroactively embellishing, but yeah, they were happy.
They went gaga. He had one game where he caught 4. He's Gabe.
That was the game. The playoff game with the Bills where he got the 4 touchdowns. That got him the bag.
But I was going. The other 2 players. It wasn't. I never really banged on Christian Kirk that much. It was
Christian Kirk's a solid player.
It was Gabe Davis in the offseason last year. And I said, Jaguar fans, are you going to fall for it again? It was Gabe Davis. They went. You would have thought they signed Dwight Stevenson, Mike Webster, one of the Pouncey boys at center. That Mitch Morse guy who will be back this year. I'm like. This is the savior of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills would have never let a quality center go and then Eric Armstead. Those 3 last offseason, the local fluffy Jaguar media, you'd have thought they signed 3 first ballot Hall of Famers. And I'm like, I don't see it, guys. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, but the Jaguars definitely do need to try to make moves to get better. And I know that we talked about Christian Kirk's age and how he's 28 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, another wide receiver just requested a trade who is 27 years old, and he is a huge outside receiver. It's hard to find one bigger than DK Metcalf.
So, physically, just huge dude.
So, I mean, he's the type of guy. I mean, like how the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown a few years back.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that you want to trade for. God, A.J. Brown is just now only 27 years old, though. Holy.
Seems like he's in the league 100 years, doesn't it?
It really does. And I was thinking I was going to see a 3. Like maybe 29 or 30.
No.
Look, A.J., that was our.
And
how did they get him from the Titans? Good. No wonder their GM got fired.
I bring this up all the time because it is a factual truth with the franchise. We're coming up into free agency.
Yeah.
The Jaguars have needs, and they'll have some money. They just freed up a little more money. They'll have some. They won't have the top, and they won't have the bottom. They'll have some money. The Jaguars are one of those franchises, though. I don't think the hotshot free agent always picks up the phone when they call. A lot of Jacksonville's just not a man. I'm going to make
but this is a trade. This is a trade request, so it's more of who the right team that can work out a deal that works with the Seahawks.
Yeah. By the way. Max Crosby signed the largest. The Raiders re-signed Max Crosby.
Yeah,
he's a get after it. Obviously, get after the quarterback guy, and he's good at what he does. He just signed with the Raiders. They re-signed him, highest paid player, non-quarterback ever in the history of the league. Right?
Yeah, 3 years, $106.5 million, which is about like $35 million a year, something like that.
To chase the quarterback, which is important. Boy,
he's good at it. He's worth the price. So he's,
How about the defensive ends? The outside linebacker, defensive end. You can kind of call them the same guy, right?
More or less, yeah.
The
edge rushers.
The edge guy. How about the edge guy? How that player saw his career change about 15, 20 years ago when the NFL said it's going to be a quarterback league now.
Yeah.
Not a tackle the running back league. And the edge guy got pulled by the quarterback up the salary, chain.
Oh, yeah. The edge guy and the tackle, the left tackle. They both got huge raises.
They got benefits from the league changing, and the league did change. They changed the rules to make it a quarterback pass happy. If it was the old way, if it was 30 years ago, the defensive inside guys, stuff the run guys.
Yeah, the Joe Greens.
And Joe Green, middle linebacker. Those were your big guys, right?
Yeah, I think a guy like Lawrence Taylor really revolutionized the position in the game. Yeah, because he proved that player can just wreck.
Yeah.
And so Max Crosby, twice a year the Raiders play the Chiefs, and twice a year he just absolutely digs in the Chiefs, and he gets after Mahomes and he makes his life miserable. And the Raiders usually have a really good chance to beat them.
And the edge guy to help pay those salaries. All the fullback money goes to the edge. There's no fullback anymore. Basically.
That's eliminated.
All the pay the like you said the Joe Green and the middle linebacker. All that extra money goes to the edge. They don't pay that D tackle, that 300 that Tony Saragusa D tackle
No, I mean Chris Jones has a pretty decent contract, but yeah, by and large.
But Chris gets after. He's a rarity.
Yeah, even he is.
He's a rarity. He goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they throw him at the edge sometimes.
Yeah, Aaron Donald too. Both
Aaron
interior pass rusher.
And Donald, they're freaks though. They're two.
Oh
of,
yeah, they're
two of about 64 freaks.
They're on a different level.
Yeah, they can. A lot of your old defensive tackle guys, they don't really even want to cross the line of scrimmage. They just want to muddy it up.
Oh yeah, the old the Vince Wilfork. They would just be a gap plugger basically.
Yeah. Cowboys made a move today. They reworked Dak Prescott to the tune of freeing up $36.6 million. Now he'll still get his money and all,
right?
But boy, that's got to help the Cowboys. They are a franchise that people pick up the phone, and if they got a lot of money to throw around and sign guys this is Dak's last go around, right? I mean,
there's pretty heavy rumors that the Cowboys may take a quarterback in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
A grooming quarterback?
Yeah. Pretty
well,
heavy.
Isn't this the last? This is number 1, 2. This is ESPN story front page number 3. Cowboys rework Dak at 36.6.
This is like his 9th season.
Million. Yeah.
I thought that happened really fast.
Isn't this the last front page of ESPN that you'll see Dak, his name, until you see Dak released? Dak retires, right? I mean, this is his last go-around, right?
Yeah, well, the Cowboys are always in the front page, so there'll be other drama. But this is his last go-around. Last trip around the sun
and
with the
this
Cowboys.
Is the last time he obviously to rework.
Well, yeah, they had to do some gymnastics.
But if you agree to rework, you get some extra money somewhere, somehow, right? So
with his signing bonus, I believe.
Yeah, so this is Dak's last money grab.
Yeah, they had to do some gymnastics with what they have tied up in the big 3, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. It was just, I think it was almost impossible for them to fill out a roster with what they have going to those 3 guys.
Yeah, they would have been in negative numbers.
Which
right?
I honestly don't. I think it's all fairy tales and made up somehow.
I know.
Because how are the Eagles paying Saquon Barkley $20 million a year over 2 years?
Who said that? Was it Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow came out a week or so ago, and he was talked about. I think he was being asked about T. Higgins and signing some of his weapons and how salary cap. And he goes, "Well, how do the damn Eagles do it? Every year they seem to."
Yeah, like the Giants couldn't afford to pay Saquon Barkley like $15 million without cutting players left and right. And yet the Eagles have the most stacked squad that I've seen in years, and they can give him $20 million a year. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And yeah, Joe Burrow plays for the most poverty-stricken franchise in the NFL in the Cincinnati Bengals. So, I mean, they can't afford an indoor practice facility. They play in 10-degree weather. So, yeah, I mean, it's not fair. It's not quite as big of a discrepancy as you see in the MLB, where you have teams like the Pirates who can't field a roster, and they're basically just another farm team for the Yankees and Red Sox. But when you look at the Bengals compared to the Eagles, that's about as close as you can get.
Sometimes you just got to get lucky too. How about the Eagles? News out of Eagles camp, second day in a row. Obviously, Saquon got his big number last week. Yesterday, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got all tongue-tied yesterday. So they were in the news yesterday. The Super Bowl champions, Saquon, got paid. Sometimes you just got to get lucky too. How about they paid Zach Bond, that linebacker? The Eagles just paid him 3-year, $51 million contract. And in this article discussing this player, and I'm telling you, every time I watch the Eagles play, this guy made about 5 big plays. This linebacker. He is called in this article, Bond had one of the great out-of-nowhere seasons in recent memory in 2024. This guy came out of nowhere and played at all-world level. Sometimes you just got to get lucky.
Yeah, right time, right place.
That guy made a lot of plays this year.
Every great team has got to have a handful of guys like that just do the dirty work, the unseen stuff, and make it happen. I mean, so yeah, it's good for him on getting paid and timing it right.
How about this? Signed, and sometimes you just got to take a flyer on yourself. You're happy to be in the league. Signed to a modest 1-year, $3.5 million contract to be a rotational edge rusher and special teams coordinator. Bond instead was moved inside by the Eagles defense coordinator Vic Fangio and had an all-pro campaign, racking up 151 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 5 forced fumbles, and he was in every play, it seemed like, for the Eagles. Every play.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Vic Fangio changed this guy's life. I mean, you could think if he was on the Panthers or something, he probably would have just ended up getting cut. That's crazy.
That bald, he's got no chance, no future. Get him out of there.
Right.
Get that guy out of there. Zach Rothrock, you follow the SEC basketball. Huge game tonight. Florida at Alabama. South Carolina's played them both. Do you have a feel for that game tonight? In Tuscaloosa, Florida hasn't won since 2019. They've split the last 10 games, 5-5. Any feel for that game tonight?
Here's what I think. I think that the Gators are going to lose this game.
Shut your filthy mouth. Did anybody ask you?
Yeah,
why are you jumping in here?
I think the Gators are going to lose this game. I think they're going to potentially bow out early in the SEC tournament, and then I think that's going to be the last time they lose in the year 2025.
Whoa.
I think they're going to win it all after that.
Whoa, what a comeback, Zach.
Yeah, how about the
hey,
look?
Turn your microphone up. Turn it up.
Right, yeah. Don't pay attention to my right hand. Look at my left hand. Right?
Dude, you just punched me right in the nose.
I do. I think that's what's going to play out.
Yeah, well, you're with me. I think Florida's going to win a national title, too. I think Florida's the best team in the country. I said it a couple weeks ago. I think on a neutral court, they're the best team in the country.
I'm starting to believe they got the athletes.
Yeah,
they're well rounded. They got the guard play. They got I don't
bigs.
know. They're a good college basketball team.
Yeah, they're good. Now we always say this, particularly in tournament play, it's hard to win championships, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard.
I think it's going to be hard for them to win in Tuscaloosa tonight. It's going to be rowdy, and Alabama's good. And
they are damn good.
And it could be one of those
senior night.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those where just like how they lost to Georgia, Florida just lost to Georgia. They just shot them out in the gym. I think it could be one of those where they just catch on fire and just don't miss.
Yeah, could be. Been a fun series. The last 10 games, as I said, Florida has and Alabama have split 5-5. Big game tonight, though. 7:00, ESPN2. Dave Pasch, Jay Billis, Molly McGrath on the call. Alabama's tough to beat at home. 29 of the last 32 home games at night they've won. They've dropped a few Saturday afternoon games, but they're tough, as most good teams are. I mean, most good teams are tough at home. Alabama leads the series 79-72 all time. Interesting, these two teams, they only play once in the regular season tonight. They don't play twice. They don't play a home and home. Last year, Alabama was remember, Alabama went to the Final Four last year.
Oh, yeah.
They went to the Final Four. Florida and Alabama played 3 times last year in a 21-day span in late February, March. Florida took 2 of 3. Bama won the first game in overtime in Tuscaloosa. Florida won in Gainesville, and then Florida won in Nashville in the quarterfinals. Last year, the 3 games that Florida played against Alabama, the Gators averaged exactly 100 points. They scored 93 in a loss, 105, 102. So they averaged right at 100 points. That's Bama's Achilles heel this year. They can't stop anybody. They score. They're the highest scoring team in the country, but they literally can't stop anybody. Is their knock. I think tonight is I think the winner, no matter what happens Saturday, I think the winner gets that 4th number 1 seed.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like that's what it's come down to. It's a win, get it, lose, don't get it scenario.
And that I think, and I've said this, I'll keep saying this through Selection Sunday. The national committee, the big tournament committee that gives out the bids and places the teams and the seeds and locations and all, they've gotten pretty savvy. They've gotten to a point where they can look at certain teams and say, and this is the SEC this year, the top of the SEC, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, they've done all their work. They've put the hay is in the barn in the regular season. It's been a meat grinder regular season. I don't think it matters at all for those 4 what happens in Nashville. I think if you go out Friday night and lose your opening game, I think the SEC regular season carries so much weight because it was so deep. And it's so deep. I think, and I applaud the committee for not, a Florida and Auburn and Alabama, Tennessee could easily lay an egg a week from Friday in Nashville, their first game. I don't think that has any bearing. You did your heavy lifting. The 18 conference games you played in this freaking conference, during the regular season, I think that's your heavy lifting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's setting up perfectly for those teams to just not necessarily take the SEC tournament seriously, and then maybe a team that has won a couple games recently and really needs to catch fire in the SEC tournament and make it, like a South Carolina Gamecocks. They could potentially go on a run in the SEC tournament and get a berth after all.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I know it's senior day in Auburn. It's senior night tonight in Alabama. For whatever that's worth. It's senior day, and I think that's a 4:00 game. Alabama-Auburn get back together their second match. Remember, that was the biggest game of the year. Remember, that was 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Alabama wins at Auburn. I'm not saying Auburn's dogging it, but were you surprised at all when you saw that A&M beat Auburn last night? I was not at all. They had
I had that last day of school feel.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Now, Auburn really, you don't really want to, if Auburn was to lose Saturday, their final game, then they're on a 2-game losing streak. It's kind of understandable a little bit, but then Auburn would probably need to win at least on Friday night in Nashville. You don't want to go to March Madness on 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, you don't want to be sputtering into the playoffs. Yeah, that's not how you want to do it.
You definitely don't. But man, a lot of basketball left. Tomorrow from Sliders will be live on the patio, 4 to 6. Obviously, we will replay and discuss the Florida-Alabama game from tonight. So tomorrow we'll talk about that game. But another huge basketball game tomorrow. Zach, any idea?
Oh, I'm not familiar.
Any idea?
What's happening?
Hold on. We got a few minutes. Hold your horses. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, you're going to be disappointed.
Lady Gamecocks.
Let me see here. No, it's not the Lady Gamecocks. I can promise you that. Let me see if I can find it here. I may have it. I think you know, though.
If you don't know, now you
Fight
know.
on for Jacksonville. Set your sights upon the highest goal. Cheer for Jacksonville.
How did I not know?
As our Dolphin team begins to roll. Yell for the green and gold. Raise your banners high and give a roar. Roar!
Are you like Mr. One Bits?
We will meet them and we will defeat them as we run up the winning score. Fighting Dolphins tomorrow.
Okay.
One of the last 2 games. If the Dolphins win 2 games, if they win Thursday tomorrow at North Alabama, they will play Sunday with a trip to March Madness. Dolphins 2 games away. And those buzzards from UNF, those filthy buzzards, they call themselves the Ospreys. They're home. They've turned in the uniforms. Thank you very much. Basketball talk tomorrow. Don't miss it. Florida-Alabama review, and we'll preview the Fighting Dolphins as the green and gold tries to make it to March Madness. That'll wrap it up. Thanks to Brent Beard, Zach Rothrock, and, of course, Dr. Aaron Bates. I'm Terry Norvelle. We'll do it tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Join us for the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.